If you want to become an expert on any IT domain, it might be cloud computing, DevOps, automation, cybersecurity, or even if we talk about the virtualization platform. So if you want to become expert on the platform of virtualization, so we know that VMware is the pioneer, and you are going to become expert on the platform of VmWare, so you need to focus on two major areas, and these two major areas will be discussed in this session. Hello and welcome to all of you on my productive and industry oriented training platform. So if you want to become virtualization expert and want to grow your career on the platform of VmWare, so you must have to categorize this domain into two major areas. The first one is hypervisor, while the second one is the management domain. Basically, when we talk about the hypervisor, so we know that it's a kind of a major operating system which have the capacity, which have the capability to directly operate on any server hardware. This operating system, which is known as the hypervisor, can directly communicate, manage, operate all kinds of operations on any server hardware. Basically, the functionality of the hypervisor is to convert the physical components into logical components, and on behalf of those logical components we can create all kinds of virtual machines, and after the deployment of virtual machines you can install operating systems, might be on the platform of VmWare or any open source application. But the important thing is that we need to highlight the three major domains which any hypervisor converted from physical components into logical components. So these three major categories or these three major domains are known as compute, storage, and network. So if you can select any hypervisor, it might be proxmox, Microsoft Hyper-V, or even VmWare. The basic, or you can say the fundamental capability of the hypervisor is to convert physical components into these three major categories. Now, the networking part, or you can say the physical Ethernet adapters, will be converted into logical components, and those logical components known as virtual switches. And in the same manner, the physical storage media, which generally created on RAID 5, so that RAID 5 volumes will be converted into software components. So by that way we can easily allocate those storage volumes to any virtual machine or to any physical host. And the third component is definitely your memory and processor. When you converted all these physical components into logical components and want to manage those hypervisors, now that's the time where we entered in the field of management. So we are going to find out the applications, or we are going to find the solutions which can provide us better management solutions, better kind of operations regarding the virtualization platform. So now if I talk about the management area, so on the platform of VmWare we have two major applications. The first one is vSphere, while the second one is vCenter server. Why we have two applications? Basically we know that there are generally there are three kinds of data center. The first one is, you can say, a small office, home office, a beginner kind of data center, while the second data center is known as small and medium size business data center. While at level 3, if we talk about the data center, that data center is known as enterprise level data centers. So If we have a kind of a smaller data center, it's the level of Soho or SMB, a small office, home office, or we can say a small and medium sized business. So for that purpose, we can easily adopt vSphere application to perform all kinds of operations regarding the implementation, troubleshooting, management, backups, snapshots, and all stuff related with the VMware management, implementation, deployment, disaster recovery, and all kinds of stuff which we generally perform in any data center. So these kinds of functionalities for a small and medium sized data center where we have 5 to 10 physical host machines available, and on behalf of vSphere application, we can easily configure the storage volumes, we can configure the virtual switches and virtual machines as well, and we can define the subnets, DNS roles, DHCP, and all kinds of basic functionalities which generally recommended inside the small and medium sized data center. And the important thing is that this vSphere application comes without any licensing cost. So that is the important criteria, that if you want a kind of application without any licensing cost, so the vSphere is the best possible solution. Second thing is that if you want to perform a basic kinds of implementations, like you are going to you are just trying to configure the virtual switches, a basic kind of storage volumes, and all basic activities which we generally perform related with the virtual machine spinning and all other stuff. So with this regard, you can easily utilize the vSphere application inside your data centers for remote management, implementation, troubleshooting, analysis, and all kinds of stuff we generally perform by virtualization administrator. But there are lots of limitations when we talk about the vSphere application. The first one is it's generally recommended for small and medium sized business. There is no centralized management. When we talk about the vSphere, so it's a completely decentralized solution. Whenever you are going to manage any physical host machine, so you need to make a separate connection with that machine. Within a single window, you cannot add multiple physical hosts for the purpose of management. That's the first limitation. The second limitation is that it will only perform basic kind of operations. If you want to deploy any software defined data center, or if you want to adopt some kind of software defined networking, or if you are going to create a clustering environment on the platform of VmWare, so the vSphere application don't have these kinds of capabilities. And the last and the most important limitation is vSphere is completely decentralized application. There are a number of security limitations also you can face when you are working with the vSphere application. There are many limitations with the vSphere application, so it means that we must have to find a kind of application which provide us all kinds of advanced level features which generally limit with the vSphere application. Now, this time, if we talk about the other applications, so we have an other enterprise level application available on the platform of VmWare, and that application is known as vCenter server. The most important thing which you must understand about the vCenter server is that this application has its own licensing cost. Definitely, if any vendor going to provide any kind of application for enterprise level, so why they will provide without any cost? Because they are in the business of IT, so definitely they must provide all kinds of enterprise level application with their own licensing cost. But the important thing is that all kinds of limitations which we face with the with vSphere application now, with the help of vCenter server, we can overcome to all those limitations. The first limitation was, if you are going to create the you can say virtual switches, so with the help of vSphere server, vSphere application, we can only create standard switches, which means that we are limiting ourselves, that we are not able to create any kind of clustering environment on the platform of VmWare. So for that purpose, we need a different kind of virtual switch, which is known as distributed switches. So with the help of vCenter application, we can easily deploy distributed switches on the platform of VmWare. The second most important thing which vCenter application provide is software defined networking. The third and most important thing about the vCenter application is that with the help of this application, you can easily create clusters on the platform of VmWare, where inside a single cluster you can add two or more than two physical hosts for the purpose of load balancing, fault tolerance, high availability, and all those features which generally required by any kind of enterprise level data center. The fourth and the most significant option, which I really love, is that vCenter server provide you a single window from where you can manage all servers with one single login. If you are trying to manage your all physical servers from the remote location with a single session, so vCenter server provide all these kinds of functionalities, which means that if I provide my username and password for a single time when I logged in inside the vCenter server, so now I can manage 10 physical host, 20, 30, 50. There is no limitation on the physical host management when I'm going to talk about the vCenter server. So inside a single window, you can perform all kinds of functions which generally required by any virtualization platform. So the vCenter server application is completely designed for enterprise level data center. But when we talk about the management side, implementation, snapshots, and all kinds of functions which we generally require by the virtualization industry, we can perform with the help of vCenter server. So now we can easily realize that if we have a small and medium sized business kind of data center, so for that purpose we can utilize the vSphere application. But if I have enterprise level data center, so for that purpose I will recommend you that you must have to go with the vCenter server, because this vCenter server application provide you all kinds of features, capabilities, and all kinds of advanced level implementation options whenever you are dealing with the enterprise level data center. Thank you very much.